111.
Anyway,
In parentheses,
that domestic
Platinum,
terrorist
i.e. the domestic
organization is
terrorist
the one
upstairs
that
in
are
Unit
responsible.
207.
Okay, the domestic
1, 6, 1,
terrorist
8, 7,
upstairs
series,
in...
10 periods.
Oh my goodness, too much shouting.
And
Okay, so we have an update. It's in the description. Let me read that to you real quick. Unit 207 sent a male stalker from the North Everett precinct / DCYF outside of my door at 1:40 p.m. He hung out at there like 10 minutes with the devices that were used to destroy yet another laptop yesterday. One of 3 laptops they've destroyed, and one of thousands of dollars of equipment that they've stolen when their domestic terrorist organization was only an aggravated criminal conspiracy and criminal enterprise. Thousands of dollars of devices, especially if we include phones. I wrote in the description here, 2:18, 1:40 p.m., male North Everett Precinct, Unit 207, stalks me on exterior at 1:40 p.m. to attempt to use tools to destroy another laptop. And it didn't work, I might add. And then he went upstairs, and the crazy female that the FBI is excited to throw in prison, I wrote on here, and domestic female terrorist upstairs demand they shut off all the internet temporarily on all of the devices. Do that, she said. Do it. Just do it. And he did. He said, yes, you make the best rockets, and I want to go to prison for the rest of my life with you. So it is 1:58 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. This is a consensual recording with Mystic Gwen pursuant to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'm not employed by the FBI, but I've been authorized to state I'm an informant, and they've wanted me to do just that since June because everything these imbeciles are doing became domestic terrorism in August. They switched from being an aggravated criminal conspiracy and criminal enterprise with the few people that were responsible for it and a bunch of people who thought that they were doing something that was actually legitimate. It never was. Never was legitimate. Not in March 2023, it wasn't legitimate. And since August 6th, it's been 100% a domestic terrorist organization. So in his desperation to get her to shut up, he decided to join her in prison and cut off all of the internet throughout the whole house. And that terminated the preceding live stream, which is what I was playing a moment ago because I just had to see, did they criminally and illegally make that specific live stream less lengthy than it was before? Did they retroactively erase some footage? And I'm bad at math, but I don't think that they did. I think that it ran for the whole period of time. But keep in mind, the only reason why I caught them is because of the stomping upstairs and also because of the fact that something literally just told me, wake up because you need to check the live stream again. So I came out, I saw the live stream was still connected. This is what happened in real time. And then after I saw that the live stream was still connected and was actually running. Then I heard the guy outside, and then I heard him go upstairs, and I heard her demands. And so then I came out here, and I literally sat down because I wanted to see, is he going to try to appease this woman and join her in prison again and perpetrate some domestic terrorism? And so when I did that, the answer is yes. Yes, he did. Just in an attempt to get her to shut up. So once again, nobody is paying attention to the law. Everyone is paying attention to what? To the domestic terrorist organization that they're a part of. I've just set this video to public like the domestic terrorist upstairs wanted me to do, so they can attempt once again what they already tried over and over and over again and weren't able to do. And so they criminally and illegally shut off the internet. And then they're going to continue to once again repeatedly experiment with anything and everything that they can to perpetrate domestic terrorism while telling one another that it's a good thing what they're doing, when the reality is they're just proving to the FBI in the event that they blew the whistle that they didn't actually want to testify against anybody. They wanted to be ongoing participants in their domestic terrorist organization, which, remember, is why the FBI has stated since August, there will be an exodus at the North Everett precinct. There will be an exodus at the North Everett precinct. There will be an exodus at the North Everett precinct. There will be an exodus at the North Everett precinct. There will be an exodus at the North Everett precinct. And remember, the FBI has also stated about Unit 207 explicitly, quote, they are not nearly as smooth as they like to imagine. Now stop coming outside and stalking me on the exterior of the building, because the women that you keep listening to are the same ones responsible for you going to prison, each and every one of you who have listened to them. You've been told by the FBI, you can read, search on Google. Is it legal to prevent an FBI informant from emailing, sending offline recordings to the FBI when they say the FBI is putting us in prison for our 250 crimes? Type that in Google, big boy. Stay the fuck away from my door. Keep your little tools away from my door. Are you going to criminally and illegally shut off the internet every time I go to lay down and take a nap because the cunt upstairs is pissed that she's going to prison for the rest of her life and needs you to break in? You got to break in, and there can't be a live stream. Pissed that she's going to prison for the rest of her life and needs you to break in. You got to break in, and there can't be a live stream. You gotta break in, and there can't be a live stream. Remember, you're child abusing, kidnapping, thieving, stalking fraudsters. You are enemies of the state of Washington. You are enemies of the state of Washington. You are enemies of Snohomish County. Enemies of the state of Washington. You are enemies of Snohomish County. You are enemies of the United States of America, and they are going to stamp your asses. They are going to stamp your asses. Some people involved in your domestic terrorist organization have no idea exactly what they're going to be convicted for doing just in the last 8 days. Just in the last 8 days. Just in. Fall way the fuck back. Put an apple in that pig's mouth. Look her in the eyes and say, you've been here since March 2023. You're guilty of 250 separate crimes against the woman downstairs. You're not going to be able to give her 100 and something grand and then play pretend anymore. You can play pretend because the FBI said that you'll have 10 days to do so in March like you did in February before you're arrested. Or you can continue with this behavior and you can be arrested this month. With this behavior and you can be arrested this month. With this behavior and you can be arrested this month. With this behavior and you can be arrested this month. With this behavior and you can be arrested this month. With this behavior. Okay, so let's go over a couple of things real quick. One, you guys are a terrorist organization. 2, if this live stream ends for any reason without me orally and explicitly telling you the end time, it means that one of the big babies upstairs, they came down here and they decided to perpetrate some acts of domestic terrorism and some exterior stalking, attempted to destroy some more devices, because instead of taking an accountability and 3 of them going to prison, and my being paid, and my kids not being kidnapped, and me never being illegally detained, they all decided to listen to the few people that would have gone to prison. And then it became 27 people going to prison. And at last count per the FBI, because of whistleblowers, it was all the way down to 10 individuals. Well, I'm going to play the preceding live stream from the 16th. And the reason I'm playing that preceding live stream from the 16th is I'm going to play the live stream that is literally titled 2:16 3 a.m. debrief judicial notice of 2/4/25 and all addendums. All the other updates that you really need to pay attention to, you can read about in the description, or I just went over. Remember, if this live stream ends for any reason without me orally and explicitly saying an end time, I didn't end it, the domestic terrorist did, and they get real anxious and antsy, apparently, and between 8 and 10 hours, they're just going to shut off the internet in the whole house. Ain't anything to perpetrate domestic terrorism. Okay. Now, other than that, listen to this recording.
In March of 2023, and became a domestic terrorist organization in August of 2024, and now as of 2025, in less than 5 weeks, there will be a quote exodus at the North Everett precinct. So it is 3:02 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is a consensual recording with Mystic Gwen pursuant to the instructions of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I'm not employed by the FBI. I am an authorized to state informant for the FBI. One of many. There are over 20 plus individuals that will be testifying against this domestic terrorist organization. Some of them are, unfortunately, members of the domestic terrorist organization who will be getting a plea deal in immunity because of the fact that they, like me, are at risk of severe retaliation, like I've had to endure, by the North Everett precinct of fraudsters, which the FBI renamed to the North Everett precinct of stalkers last month. Now, there's quite a few things that we're going to go over in this video. But since I've had to go over them, like, I don't know, over 80 times or something like that, how many live streams have they criminally and illegally shut off since February 11th? I lost count once it got over 50. This makes sense. Anyway, we're going to begin by going over the February 13th, 3 a.m. report / addendum. Was excellent as the action in the curse of Capistrano was.
It is currently at 2:09
all of the legal
p.m.
documents should be visible
PST.
for all of you at facebook.com/Mystic Gwen lives only you. But Unit207 has been using their law enforcement portal for a lot of felonies, including felonies attached to my Facebook. So whether or not it's actually visible to you, I can't tell yet, because they've been using their fraudulent North Everett precinct Facebook accounts, which I think this is a good time to note that some of the officers have been using since 2017 to terrorize me. If you missed it, part of the reason the FBI has full jurisdictional authority is because in 2017 there was a series of crimes that were perpetrated against me and threatened, which were reported to the FBI as the threats came from police officers at the North Everett precinct. The multiple times convicted stalker and abuser, some friends / drug users of the multiple times convicted stalker and abuser, DCYF employees, reading poetry of all things, and a lawyer of mine that I used to have a sexual relationship with, who I was friends with before he was ever my lawyer, and had a relationship with before he was ever my lawyer.
That just means it wasn't illegal.
And then the domestic terrorist organization upstairs, and
it wasn't illegal.
That non-existent federal defense, you know, the one that was reported about in the August 14th tort claim, where all the remaining felonies that they were helping to perpetrate were also recorded. What's this mystery? Well, according to the FBI, every one of those named individuals that were reported 8 years ago for the very crimes your domestic terrorist organization perpetrated. Well, get this. All of them except for one individual is going to prison. You guys, they're all part of it. It's part of the reason why the FBI has full jurisdictional authority. Now, again, we're going to go over that February 13th report first. And for that, I am going to play a preceding live stream. One that they criminally and illegally shut off on the 13th. This is from the live stream on my channel that is titled 2-13 4 something a.m. in the morning. I'm going to the YouTube channel right now. I'm still recording offline on the laptop where they didn't disengage and disable the camera. Indigo's laptop, remember, they also broke Garetts' brand new laptop yesterday. One of thousands of dollars of technological devices they've criminally and illegally broken. Most notably, the multiple things that they broke in February of 2024. Never part of 2024. This is a domestic terrorist organization. It's an aggravated criminal conspiracy and a criminal enterprise. It's never been a legit operation.
Not ever.
Since its inception.
Not since its inception.
It's been a criminal enterprise, an aggravated criminal conspiracy. And again, in August, because of more than 5 felonies that y'all have perpetrated, you became a domestic terrorist organization. So this is from the live stream 2-13, 4:32 a.m. I'm going to click on it, and then I've got to fast forward about 2 hours in, and you will hear this is the addendum from February 13th at 3 a.m. The FBI feels that this one is very important. So I'm fast forwarding an hour and 57 minutes into that live stream. And here you go. Pay attention. And here we go. Here's Snohomish County Superior Court, North Everett Precinct, Sheriff's Office, Snohomish County prosecutors, and all forwarded to FBI. From Lynette Renee Hansen, aka when subject supplemental information regarding further criminal activities, escalation of threats, evidence tampering, continued child abuse, and incurred penalties February 10th to February 13th, 2025. Immediate action required. Criminal enterprise in domestic terrorist organization. No immunity for unauthorized in domestic terrorist organization. This document serves as the unauthorized in domestic terrorist organization. This document serves as the MPST and previously supplemented. It provides further critical updates regarding the relentless and escalating criminal conspiracy associated with the North Everett Precinct, Unit 207 at 2120 Highland Ave, Everett, Washington, and their expanding network of co-conspirators. This addendum also functions as a formal police report detailing new criminal acts perpetrated between February 10th and February 13th, 2025. 1. Incorporation of prior filings by reference. All facts, invoices, statements, and incorporated documents referenced in the original formal judicial notice of February 4th, 2025, and all subsequent addendums February 6th, February 7th, and February 8th, 2025, and all police reports filed by Lynette Renee Hansen from June 2024 to the present date, and any future date are hereby incorporated by reference as if fully set forth herein. This explicitly includes, but is not limited to, declaration of Lynette Renee Hansen, aka Mystic Gwen, dated December 14, 2024, revised 8:07 p.m. PST due to unlawful tampering. Addendum to declaration dated December 19, 2024. Addendum in amendment to declaration dated December 29, 2024. Tort claim filed August 14, 2024, case number 10-500-5934, served upon the North Everett Precinct, Snohomish County prosecutors et al. All police reports filed since June 2024 by me, Lynette Renee Hansen, aka Mystic Gwen. 2. Supplemental information, criminal acts from February 10th to February 13th, 2025. The following criminal acts have been perpetrated by Unit 207 and their co-conspirators, further demonstrating the ongoing and escalating nature of this criminal enterprise. February 10th, 2025, just before noon, a male individual from Unit 207 briefly appeared to deliver written materials. The content and purpose of these materials are currently unknown, but are considered suspect in the context of ongoing harassment and conspiracy. February 10th, 2025, 2 p.m. PST, The North Everett precinct predictably and unlawfully rejected the police report/addendum filed on February 8th. This blatant act of obstruction of justice is consistent with their ongoing efforts to shield themselves and their co-conspirators from accountability. Occupants of Unit 207 were overheard discussing their intent to feign cessation of stalking while continuing these criminal activities. They also discussed plans to dispatch multiple individuals to my residence before February 23rd under the false pretense that my participation is required for some unspecified purpose. February 10th, 2025, 12 a.m. and 8:37 a.m. PST. YouTube live streams initiated by me were criminally and illegally terminated. These actions are consistent with evidence tampering, witness intimidation, and obstruction of justice. February 11th, 2025, 8 a.m. to 5:16 p.m. PST. Unit 207 engaged in a cybercrime spree, illegally shutting off an astounding 23 live streams. February 11th, in a astounding 23 live streams. PST. The male individual from the upstairs unit 3 live streams. The DCYF employee and brother of an EPD officer who left harassing notes in the summer of 2023 entered the balcony door of Unit 207. This further illustrates the coordinated stalking and harassment efforts involving multiple individuals and potentially implicating members of law enforcement and DCYF. That shouldn't say potentially, that should say and it implicates. Everything that is written here, there is evidence of beyond a reasonable doubt, and the FBI has confirmed that damn near every day that I've been illegally detained. Moving on. February 13th, 2025, 1:55 a.m. PST. During a live stream, Unit 207 illegally terminated the broadcast and a significant escalation of evidence tampering erased a 20-plus hour recording stored offline. This act was concurrent with the criminal and illegal erasure of over 4 hours of the YouTube live stream from the previous night. Prior to the termination, I had explicitly noted in the live stream description a threat from the female occupant upstairs to terminate the broadcast while I slept, which she subsequently carried out. This erasure is believed to be for the same reason speculated in the February 8th addendum: obstruction of justice, intimidation of a federal witness, and tampering with evidence of their ongoing criminal conspiracy. Ongoing cybercrimes and live stream interference, February 12th to the 13th. February 13th, 1:55 a.m. PST, live termination, as noted above. February 12th, 9:11 p.m. PST, female felons in upstairs unit explicitly planned to terminate the live stream while I slept. This threat was typed into the live stream description in an attempt to preemptively deter their criminal actions and document their intent. February 12th, 8:57 p.m. PST, female felons engaged in further cyber tampering, illegally cutting and tampering with the live stream. February 12th, 8:02 p.m., live stream terminated from 7:56 p.m. to 8:02 p.m. February 12th, 7:51 p.m. update, Unit 207 activity since noon indicates female felons are anticipating imprisonment, but express high expectation for next week and further crimes. Believing, quote, court, quote, will favor them. They also suggest co-conspirators are, quote, even more excited for next week. February 12th, 9:02 a.m. PST. Unit 207 terminated a prior live stream. February 12th, 6:43 a.m. to 7:43 a.m. PST. Unit 207 engaged in extensive planning out and conspiratorial. There we go. Unit 207 engaged in extensive planning and conspiratorial discussions involving both male and female occupants, continuing as of 7:44 a.m. PST. February 12th to February 13th at 3 a.m. Unit 207 has criminally and illegally tampered with, obstructed, and committed cybercrimes against at least 9 live streams. 3. This is not an operation. This is a criminal enterprise and domestic terrorist organization. It is important to state unequivocally that the actions documented herein and in all prior filings are not
part of any legitimate law enforcement operation, nor are they justifiable under any
Legal pretext.
This is an aggravated criminal conspiracy, a criminal enterprise, and constitutes the actions of a domestic terrorist organization. The perpetrators, including officers of the North Everett Precinct, individuals in Unit 207, and their co-conspirators, are engaged in a systematic and sustained campaign of felony stalking and harassment, constant surveillance, intimidation tactics, and deliberate disruption of my peace and safety, cyber crimes and evidence tampering, illegal termination of live streams, erasure of recordings, and hacking attempts to obstruct justice and conceal their criminal activities. Obstruction of justice, rejection of legitimate police reports, fraudulent court maneuvers, and concerted efforts to impede any investigation into their crimes. Child abuse and exploitation, the continued and deliberate exploitation of my disabled sons to perpetrate felonies and further this criminal conspiracy. Illegal detainment and kidnapping, ongoing illegal detainment within my own home, and prior actionable kidnappings of my disabled sons. Civil rights violations and ADA violations, systematic deprivation of my civil rights, and targeted discrimination based on disability. Financial fraud and extortion, attempts to extort and defraud me through various illegal means. 4, no immunity for unlawful directives. Let it be explicitly stated.
Let it be explicitly stated.
Unlawful directives from superiors or co-conspirators provides absolutely no immunity for these criminal acts. Every individual involved, regardless of their position or perceived authority, regardless of their position and or criminally liable for their participation in this conspiracy. The willingness to obstruct justice, tamper with evidence, and intimidate a federal witness only deepens their culpability and ensures the maximum penalties under the law. And
Maximum penalties.
in February 2024, it is critical to note that this pattern of criminal behavior is not new. In January 2024, individuals from Unit 207, including the same 2 males who initiated my illegal detainment on August 6, 2024, were actively engaged in indoctrinating and exploiting disabled minors, directing my multiple times convicted stalker and abuser to indoctrinate our disabled sons based on their disabilities, and to plan their kidnapping until August 17, 2024. Destruction of personal property, deliberately destroying my brand new laptops in January 2024. Theft, stealing money from each and every delivery I received for all of my deliveries from September 2023 to August 2024. These actions, like the ongoing crimes, were never part of any legitimate legal operation. They are, and always have been, components of a premeditated and aggravated criminal conspiracy targeting me and my children. The abuse of disabled minors for 13 months, their exploitation to perpetrate felonies, kidnapping, ADA violations, stalking, harassment, and all other documented crimes are not and cannot be construed as any form of legitimate operation. They are the hallmarks of a criminal enterprise, operating with impunity and a complete disregard for the law. 6, financial penalties updated. The following financial penalties previously invoiced and contractually agreed upon are reiterated and updated to reflect the additional criminal acts documented in this addendum. 100,000 per day for each day of my ongoing illegal detention, now totaling over 187 days. 10 million for any attempted illegal entry into my residence, increased to 25 million if I am asleep at the time. This penalty applies to the breaking and entering on January 29th. 10 million for the use of my sons and/or for coercing them to commit any illegal acts, including the January 29th breaking and entering. Doubling of all penalties if fraudulent court orders are used in conjunction with any illegal act. Quadrupling of these fees for any of the above criminal acts if they are perpetrated within 7 days of a rejected police report regarding said acts. 10 million for the rejection of legitimate police reports constituting obstruction of justice. This applies to all reports rejected to date, including the rejection of the February 8th report. 10 million for each instance of illegally terminating a YouTube live stream. This applies to all instances to date, including the numerous terminations between February 10th and February 13th. 10 million for each and every instance of stalking. 10 million for each and every instance of harassment. 10 million for each and every instance of ADA violations. 10 million for each and every instance of civil rights violations. Additional penalties incurred February 10th to February 13th, 2025. Obstruction of justice. Rejection of 2-8 report. 40 million quadruple penalty. Live stream terminations February 10th to the 13th. At least 30 terminations times 10 million equals 300 million. Ongoing stalking, harassment, and cybercrimes penalties continue to occur daily and per incident. The criminal actions documented in this fourth addendum, alongside those previously reported and consistently rejected by the North Everett Precinct, further and exponentially increase the financial liability of these conspirators. 7, conclusion. This fourth addendum provides further damning and irrefutable evidence that the North Everett Precinct, Unit 207, and their co-conspirators are not engaged in any legitimate operation, but rather are actively perpetuating an aggravated criminal conspiracy, functioning as a criminal enterprise and a domestic terrorist organization. Their actions represent a grave threat to my safety, the well-being of my children, and the integrity of the justice system. The FBI is fully aware of these rapidly escalating developments and the increasingly egregious nature of these crimes. This document serves as formal legal notice of these ongoing and new crimes, a demand for immediate and decisive action to dismantle this criminal enterprise, protect myself and my children, and ensure that all individuals involved are held fully accountable under the law. There is no immunity for these actions, and the perpetrators will be pursued to the fullest extent of the law. I declare no penalty of perjury that all of the aforementioned is true and correct. Sincerely, Lynette Renee Hansen, aka Mystic Gwen, date February 13th, 2025, time 3:49 a.m. PST. Now, I don't have any intention of ending this live stream anytime in the immediate future. Unit 207 may have material ideas, but per the FBI's latest briefs to me that I'm not off.
Okay.
Out loud.
So you're listening still to that recording. Let me pause this. That was the February 13th report, which is far more important than the one that went out on the 14th. The one that went out on the 14th became completely irrelevant because of Unit 207's ongoing criminal conduct since then. Now I am going back to a video that has the remaining documents that the FBI would like to put an emphasis on for those of you that, again, are indeed going to prison. But hey, guys, the good news is it's February 16th. And if you didn't notice, in December and in the last 12 days, the FBI has had me submit
legally binding paperwork informing you all that the plan is, and it can change subject with your domestic terrorist organization's criminal conduct. The plan is for you all to go to jail next month. And then I did you all a favor because I said it would be after the 10th. I mean, that's pretty nice of me to just let you know like that ahead of time, that at least for the
Pretty
first
nice of me
10
to just
days
let you know like
of
that.
March,